Nityanandeshwara Samarambam Nityanandeshwari Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Samajis, Satsangis, Sri Mahants, Mahants, Tanidars, Kotaris, visitors, viewers, everyone sitting with us through Nityananda TV, Sadhana TV, and two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Diksha. Cities sitting with us, having Nayana Diksha. London, Los Angeles, San Jose, Canberra, Australia, Varanasi, Canberra, Australia, Port Washington, New York, Melbourne, Tiruvarur, Indrani, New Jersey, Seattle, Chidambaram, Hyderabad, Guptakashi, Phoenix, Oklahoma, Los Angeles, Hollywood, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Houston, Washington, Wisconsin, Romania, North Dakota, Toronto, Hong Kong, Winston-Salem, Vancouver, Charlotte, North Dakota, North San Antonio, Dubai, Atlanta, and some more cities, Ponca City. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. Let's start with the first sutra of the first Upanishad. Please understand, I am following the arrangement as per the Advaitic tradition. Actually, Eeshaavasya Upanishad is part of the Yajurveda, not Rigveda. But all Advaitic tradition masters commented on Eeshaavasya first. The arrangement is very unique. Isha Kena Kata Prasna Mundaga Mandukya Aitareya Taitriya. This was the set organized way followed by almost all Advaitic masters. But originally in the Vedas itself, they are not organized in this way. Eeshaavasya Upanishad comes in Yajurveda. So they are not organized in the way it is commented by Advaitic masters. Maybe the masters felt these Upanishads support one by one your enlightenment process, so they organized it. I am following the structure organized by the Advaitic masters. The first sutra, please listen, let's repeat. Isha Vasyamidham Sarvam Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagath Thena Thyakthena Bhunjeethaa Makrita Kasyasviddhanam. In the original writing, the sutra is Jagathyaam Jagath. But if you see, when I pronounce, I will be pronouncing Jagathu. This is the way I heard from my masters. So it is called Paatta Bhedha. See the accent. Each master has his own accent. Originally I heard the Upanishads from Isakki Swami, Yogananda Puri and Vibhootananda Puri. These three. So when I heard from them, the accent with which I heard is usually revered and respected as Paatta Bhedha. And moreover, when I retain the accent, I also remember them. And it is the way of honoring the Guru. Retaining the Paatta Bhedha of Guru means the accent of Guru without questioning or trying to correct is a kind of a respect and reverence shown to the master in Vedic tradition. It is called Paatta Bhedha. Means your teacher in your area, the way he teaches, the way he chants, the way the accent is maintained, just retaining it. When I heard this same Upanishads in Ramakrishna Mission in Bengal, the pronunciation and the accent is little different. EeshOvOshyomidhom ShOrvOm Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagathu. Because in Bengal all the A will become O. In Bengali it is never Vivekananda, it is Bibekanando. So retaining that accent is the respect given to that Guru, and it is called Paatta Bhedha in our tradition. The way I heard exactly from my masters, I am repeating, retaining the Paatta Bhedha. The way I chant Jagathu, Dhanam. All these additions are not actually available in the form of letter in the original verses. But I just wanted to retain the purity of the Paatta Bhedha. I don't feel Paatta Bhedha is anyway disturbing the originality of the verses, so I am retaining it as it is. Let's enter into the verse now. Om Eeshaavaasyamidham Sarvam Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagath. Listen. By the consciousness enveloped must this all be, whatever moving there is in the moving world. Listen. Yesterday I was explaining two concepts. Later on I tried to ask my sannyasis how many of you understood. Anyhow, now I am explaining it again. It means you understand how many understood. Two words I introduced. inclusiveness and conclusiveness. Listen. Whenever you operate based on logic, you arrive to conclusions and move from conclusions to more conclusions. Like maths. Conclusions and science. Conclusions. Your logic, thinking, one of the important component of your life, moves in the line of conclusions. It doesn't care about anything else. It doesn't care about anything else. One of the biggest problem you face in this way of moving with conclusions. There are many advantages when you are moving with conclusions. If you want to reach Delhi, if you have a conclusive calculation, how many hours it will take, which road you have to drive, how many kilometers from where you are, you need a conclusive details, only then you can reach Delhi. So there are many advantages if you move in the language of logic, which is very conclusive. Unfortunately, there are some disadvantages. Even you will feel bored because the life itself is not always conclusive, and life itself is not always logically analyzable and quantifiable or reproducible. All system which tries to analyze, quantifies, replicates, reproduces, have their own disadvantages and restrictions. Including astrology. Please understand, which is trying to logically calculate, mathematically analyze, and try to come to conclusions about life. It can only a rough direction, can never be a conclusion. In that way, if you see, the boss will be Kani Rasi, and his driver will be Kani Rasi, and his sweeper will be Kani Rasi. All three will be Kani Rasi. How come the boss is a boss, and driver is a driver, and sweeper is a sweeper? It can only the rough directions. As per my horoscope, I'll never be known even to my next door person. No, really, I'll never be known even to my next door person. Not in the later years. It says very clearly, even in the whole life. It is only a kind of a direction. We will have to give our own understanding to it. Yes. Still, I am never known, even to the people who live around me. So these conclusions can never be the conclusions as you understand. These conclusions should be looked with the eye of inclusion of circumstantial evidences. See, if you see the circumstantial evidence, this conclusion, I will never be known by anybody, cannot be the conclusion as you understand. Please understand, the thinking, approaching, planning with the conclusive approach, conclusive way of thinking, many times makes you stop seeing the whole. Conclusion is one of the methodology which has some advantage and disadvantage, but not complete. Same way, the inclusiveness. The inclusiveness, these people will never be practical. Oh, everything is one and the same, life is love. If you see in depth, even they don't believe what they are talking. Maybe in some emotional high, they will utter some words. See, this inclusive group is more poets. The people who preach love. I am not against love, listen. But just like this conclusive way of thinking and living has its own disadvantage, the inclusive way of thinking and living also has its own limitations and disadvantage. See, in the language of inclusiveness, it's always vague. I want to reach Delhi, please give the way. Tell me how. These inclusive people, why do you want to reach Delhi? This itself is Delhi. Why don't you celebrate here itself? Whatever way you want to celebrate. This is Delhi, that is Delhi, Delhi is Delhi, Delhi is everywhere. Everywhere is Delhi. These inclusive people talk more like drunkards. They do not make life practical, but they have one advantage. They will never be boring or tiring. They will never be boring or tiring. They know the juice of life is in inclusion. Somewhere this inclusive emotional trend and the type should meet the conclusive thinking style and merge together. Only then that being. See, the logic head is always trying to be conclusive, conclusive, conclusive. The emotion, heart, always trying to be inclusive, inclusive, inclusive. But both have their own limitation, advantages and disadvantages. It's only the being where both meet and blossoms. Only there, ultimately, the reality is perceived, lived as reality. Understand? I have a story. Drunk man is stopped by the police around midnight, 12 o'clock, and is asked where he is going at this time of night. The man replies, I am going to attend a lecture on alcohol abuse and ill effects of alcohol on my health. Officer, wow, really? That sounds interesting. Who is giving that lecture at this time of night? The man replies, my wife. Understand? The joke seems to be very inclusive and conclusive. Look into your life most of the time. You are stable because of your conclusiveness. You grow because you take the risks and challenges of inclusiveness. But somehow we will have to meet both and complete both, bring both to completion. See, a man who wants to be conclusive in his life will be very stable. He will get married, have a house, get a job in a Fortune 500 company, have a car, and he will know how to drive from house to office. Very stable life. Conclusive. But no growth. All growth, expansion happens when you operate, when you switch to the mode of inclusive. Only there you get the energy, intensity, clarity, depth to take risks. Somewhere these two should have completion in your being. That happens only when you know how the law of life functions. Understand? All the cosmic law emerges. Dharma itself emerges out of an inner space where inclusiveness and conclusiveness becomes complete. The emotion and logic becomes complete. To run a family, you need inclusiveness. To run the office, you need to be conclusive. To run your life, you need to be inclusively conclusive. Ultimately, when you merge your logic and emotion, inclusiveness and conclusiveness, it should become inclusively conclusive or conclusively inclusive, not inconclusive. Listen. This first statement, I can tell you, it is just a shock. It is so inclusive and so conclusive. That is why I am telling you, it can be applied immediately as a technique, and it will be realized as a truth any moment by you. Understand? All these great truths, sometimes they are truth but can't be applied as a technique. Sometimes they are techniques but can't be taken as a truth. When there is a gap, yesterday I explained some of the statements, like Ramana Maharshi saying, nothing will happen without His grace, only what He wants will happen. See, this is a powerful technique if you practice it honestly, with integrity. But I have seen many people exploiting it. Many of these so-called religious people, they will do all the mistake and they say, only if God wills everything happens finally by His will. One fellow came to me and he said, I am stuck in poverty, please bless me, somehow help me to get out of this poverty. I asked him, what is the reason how this poverty happened? Oh, I have 14 kids. I asked him, you could have been little intelligent. He says, what can I do? God gave. Now I just looked at him. I did not ask any further question. Now how I am looking at you guys, same way I looked at him. He understood. I did not ask him verbally, did God come and do everything? But he understood. See, this word can be a powerful technique if you use it honestly, but it is not truth. How the word exactly uttered by Ramana Maharshi is misused. That is why I am saying there are some things which our masters said, sacred secrets, they are techniques, not truths. So this word of Ramana Maharshi, everything happens only by God's will, is an amazing technique. If you just use that in your cognition, you will just settle down into the depth of your being. So much of inner healing will happen. You may suddenly wake up to the truth. The truth will be, you will know very clearly where your will is interfering and distorting God's will. How you can let God's will prevail without you willing to will against the God's will. You will be awakened to the truth if you practice that technique sincerely. But that statement itself is not truth. You can see how this guy with 14 kids manipulating the same statement. understand. Same way, the statement, we are beyond suffering, pain, no suffering can happen to us, no pain can touch us. It's a truth, but it cannot be a technique immediately for you to practice. I tried. The moment I heard this truth, we are beyond suffering, pain, I just ran and took the knife and cut my thigh and saw whether we have pain or not. It's a truth, but not technique. And listen, when there is a gap between truth and technique, you need the guidance of a living master and practice. See, when I heard we are beyond suffering and pain, actually the truth meant the soul, consciousness, what we are originally, not what I think as me. The truth is what we are originally is beyond suffering and pain, but I tried it on what I think as me, body. The truth related to soul, consciousness, I tried to test it on my body, thinking this is me. Listen. So there are many statements, truth, but not technique. There are many truths which can't be applied as technique. There are many techniques which can't be taken as truths. Here I am telling you this statement. With all my integrity and authenticity, I am telling you this statement, Eeshaavaasyamidham Sarvam, Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagath, is a truth and technique. It's a truth and technique. You can start practicing now. You can live this as a truth now. You don't need any master. You don't need any practice. You don't need any preparation. See, when the truth is separate and technique is separate, people are confused, it takes time, they lose faith. It is like a truth is jnana yoga, Advaita jnana anubhuti. Everything is one, that oneness is the truth. So for you to achieve that, the technique is either karma yoga, work selflessly, or raja yoga, do all the spiritual practices, or bhakti yoga, do celebrate the feeling connection with the divine. So different paths. When the truth and technique is separated, the space for confusion grows and the space of the gray area becomes more. When there is more gray area, more possibility for exploitation. More possibility for pseudo-gurus. People ask me, why there are so many pseudo-gurus in Hinduism? I tell them, Hinduism is the only tradition which is foolproof. No pseudo-guru can exploit it. In that case, no guru can exploit it. Anybody repeats the Upanishads? In the beginning, even if he was pseudo, he will learn it and he will become a right guru. The system is such. Anybody walks into it, even with the wrong purpose, comes out with a clarity, understanding, and living these truths. Listen. Basically, these great truths are not declared by people who have vested interest, exploitation interest. That is why they have not even declared their name. Authors do not have authority because they are not lending authenticity to these words. See, when an author lends authenticity to some words, he gets authority also over those words. Here, Dharma declares its existence. Dharma expresses its authority. Dharma expands its very core. Dharma is declaring its own life by its own authority. Cosmos is telling you how to live with it. Understand? Cosmos is telling you how to live with it, how to radiate it, how to enjoy it, how to experience it. When there is no gap between truth and technique, you don't need any guide, guru, middleman. You just need a guru to tell, no need for any guru, that's all. There is no gray area. Nobody can exploit. Even guru cannot change anything. He just has to repeat. One of the most foolproof, powerful system the spiritual tradition ever evolved on the planet Earth, which can never be manipulated by anybody, any pseudo-guru, because it has not left any gray area, is Vedic tradition. Here there is no gray area, nothing to manipulate. Only with the gray area comes the possibility for manipulation. Eeshaavaasyamidham Sarvam Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagath. Whatever is moving in the moving world is enveloped by consciousness. I should use the word filled. When enveloped is an incomplete word. Filled. Enveloped means something which is getting enveloped is away from what is enveloped. No. Eeshaavaasyamidham Sarvam Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagath. Listen. Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagath. Whatever you think as moving in ever-moving world, it means moving change is your perception. and factual. Listen. Many times your perception is not factual. Your factual is not truth. Your truth is not reality. Listen. I am organizing words. Perception, fact, truth, reality. Perception. Earth is flat. Sun goes round the earth. Fact. Earth is round. Earth only is going around the sun. Truth. Listen. Earth is not exactly round and sun is going round the earth. Reality. How the earth looks, see it from Google map, and earth and sun both are going round each other. Understand? Perception, fact, truth, reality. I know lot of explanation and understanding is required. Perception. Earth is flat because that much only you can perceive. And sun is going around the earth because you see sun one side in the morning and the other side in the evening, and he has literally gone round. Then comes truth. Sorry, fact. Fact is earth is not flat, it's round. And sun is not going around the earth. Earth is only going around the sun. Means little expanded perception. The perception, when it goes little more than your perceived time and space. See, the fact, when it is added for 365 days and few thousand miles, listen, perception is because you can see only few kilometers and few hours. When you can see few thousand kilometers and few thousand hours, it evolves to fact. Perception evolves to fact. And when you can see few million miles and few million years, then fact evolves to truth, where actually earth is not exactly round and the sun is going around the earth. Please understand. This you need to understand. I'll explain. See, the fruit in my right hand, consider this as a sun. Fruit in the left hand is earth. This goes around this. Is what you consider as fact. But you need to know, this whole setup is going around something. So in that way, in few million years, the sun will go around the earth once. Understand? Because this whole setup is going around centered on something. That is what is truth. And the reality is, if you see the few kalpas, first of all, earth's shape is neither flat nor round, and it is ever changing. How it is? Look at the Google map. And whether sun goes around the earth or earth goes around the sun, both of them are actually going around each other. That is reality. Understand, perception is with a small time and space, your senses functioning. Fact is expansion of the time and space within your perception. Actually, your perception is same, but with expanded time and space. That is fact. Truth is with the expanded time and space, your perception getting altered. Reality is your perception realizing the truth beyond time and space. Understand the definitions. Your perception working within the limitations of time and space is perception. Your perception working beyond the limitations of time and space is fact. Time and space altering your perception is truth. Your perception going beyond time and space is reality. So this statement, Eeshaavaasyamidham Sarvam, Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagath, it is truth. Not yet reality. Reality is next statement. Next statement is reality. This statement, Eeshaavaasyamidham Sarvam, Yathkincha Jagathyaam Jagath, it is neither perception nor fact. It is truth. Listen. Changing, the world is changing. Can be fact. And the change itself changes is the truth. Here, Upanishads are not declaring Eeshaavaasyamidham Sarvam Yathkincha Jagath. No. They are saying Jagathyaam Jagath. Changing, which is established in constantly changing. It is like this fruit is moving. It is centered, established on the other fruit that is also moving. This is moving in some way and this is moving in another way. So the change established in change. Jagathyaam Jagath. Understand? Please listen to today's satsang at least 3-4 times. and you yourself define, you paraphrase it. What is perception? What is fact? What is truth? What is reality? Paraphrase it and put it as your status in the Facebook. This is the homework for everyone. And debate. Today's subject for Vada Pradivada is what is fact, what is perception, what is fact, what is truth, what is reality. And how in our life one is overlapping on the other. Whatever you perceive as change is not only changing, it is established on something which is changing. So actually by this statement, Upanishad declares, don't suffer because of change. The change itself is established on change. Do not have fear or greed because of change, because the change is established on change. It is like things are just moving constantly in front of your mouth, like grapes, fruits, sweets, ice cream, neem leaf, so many things. You just try to jump and catch that through your mouth. Sometimes if it is tasty, you celebrate life. If it is bitter, you say, "Rah, rah, rah." Whatever it is, whether it is tasty or bitter, don't worry because it is changing. Changing itself is changing. Once more defining. Perception is your senses operating within the limits of time and space. Fact means your senses operating beyond the boundaries of time and space. Truth means your perception is transformed by the perceived because it is too huge. The time and space itself is transforming the way you perceive. Is truth. Reality means perception beyond the boundaries of perception and time and space. Perception is boha, fact is yoga, truth is jnana, reality is vijnana. Perception is boha, senses. Perception leads always to boha, sensory pleasures. Fact leads to always yoga, trying to unite with the higher. Truth leads to jnana, enlightenment. Reality leads to vijnana, living Advaita. living it. Celebrate Saraswati. Celebrate Upanishads. We will continue to celebrate Upanishads. Today, do this homework in the Facebook and continue with the debate. Vada Pradivada on these four: perception, fact, truth, reality. With this, I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Advaita, the eternal bliss, Nithyananda. Thank you.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nityananda.org. www.youtube.com/Life Bliss Foundation.